Today we're going to be looking at a few fragrances for men that destroy all other colognes, and for that matter, all other smells around you. You know, when you walk into crowded environments, there's going to be competition in the smell department, good or bad. You know, it could be odd smells, could be great smells, other colognes that smell amazing, but you want to be the one that stands out the most. Sometimes that can be a bit challenging. And you know, when you come to think about it, it's not even always performance that is going to be the winning factor. Now, performance is going to be important, don't get me wrong, but you want to couple that performance with scents that have kind of a spicy, piercing nature to them, so that not only will they have the performance to be able to be smelled on you, but they're going to kind of have a sharpness that cuts through the air better than maybe some other beast mode scents that are super smooth. And so that's what we're looking at today. If you're going to be going somewhere where you don't know what's going to be going on, but you want to smell the strongest and you want, you know, your scent to take precedent over everything else, then you're going to want to look into a few of these here. I'll drop links to these down below. You can check them out if you want at discounters, of course, like always. And also, I want you to jump on my mailing list and texting list. Now through the end of the year, it's going to be some amazing sales, some amazing restocks. It always gets crazy this time of year with all the pop-up sales and everything like that, the holidays. So now's the time to be ready to purchase and make some great finds. Make sure you stay tuned. Okay, let's go for Tom Ford Noir Anthricite. This is a bit of an oddball. It's a bit of a unique one for sure. Fingerprint magnet too. I know it kind of it bothers some people that I use my bottles and fingerprints get on them, but it's kind of the name of the game when you have two giant lights shining at you. And so that's kind of just how it goes. So it's got Sichuan pepper, cedar, birch, and leather. This didn't really probably go over so well. You know, it's nowhere near as likable as something like Noir Extreme and, you know, Noir Extreme Parfum, but I really do like it a lot. I mean, you heard the notes there. It's, wow, it's a powerhouse. It is strong. It's peppery, it's earthy, it's woody, it's spicy. It's no joke. And this is the type of thing that we're looking for, because this is what's going to really have that piercing quality to cut through the air and put everything else to shame. My advice to you is, if you want a bottle of this, just stay on the lookout, get on my mailing list, texting list. I'm on the hunt for rare stuff like this all the time. It does pop up every so often, so it's not impossible to get. It's just not as easy as it once was. As long as you wait around and you kind of do your due diligence, you'll be able to pick up a bottle for yourself if you're interested. I think at this point, a lot of people who has wanted some has gotten it already, but if you haven't, just stay on the lookout, hang with me, and we'll get you some. I got mine more so recently, and so it's still possible. Next up, we'll go with HARAMAIN Amber Oud Ruby Edition. So this is a clone, and this is going to be a clone of BR540 Extrait. Yes, the Extrait. Big difference, because the Extrait has almond, and the almond really gives this DNA a lot more of a punch. So BR540 in and of itself is kind of more of a woody and transparent scent, kind of wispy, kind of airy, very strong. You know, a lot of the clones, and also especially the real deal, beast mode. But when it comes down to it, the Extrait and things like this that are similar to the Extrait using the almond, they're just going to have even more punch, even more delivery, even more impact, and that's what we're looking for. Couple that with the fact that this DNA is just super unique. You know, not very many people are going to be running around wearing something that smells like this. You're definitely going to be standing out big time and conquering the room with your scent. Next up, we have Salvatore Ferragamo Oud. Really like this one a lot. It's got rum, leather, oud, of course, and some tobacco in here. Boozy, smoky, woody. A little bit sweet with a little bit of a classic feel as well. A little bit more of a mature aspect, which I do enjoy out of this one. Definitely one of their more interesting works. You know, maybe when you think of Ferragamo, you think of stuff like, I don't know, Aqua Senziale Blue and Ferragamo Uomo Signature Urban Feel, Ferragamo F Black. Nothing wrong with those. In fact, I really like all of those, but they aren't quite as interesting and as, you know, they don't push the boundaries as much as something like Ferragamo Oud does. And so because of that, you know, on its own, this is not going to be something that's going to be worn all the time, but also this has the power, the heft, and the punch to really cut through the air and stand out in a big way. So definitely worth checking out. I believe it's like $57 or so. Pretty specific, but I think that's what it is on discounters, somewhere around in there. A little bit more expensive compared to those others, but it does kind of make up for that just in all of the categories. Price, performance, uniqueness. It's well worth it. Definitely a great release that's kind of underrated compared to the others. Let's keep it rolling with a PACO Rabanne. You can pretty much always count on this brand to pump out powerhouse, but very mass-pleasing scents. I mean, really, the 1 Millions, the Invictus, all of that stuff, all of the flankers, they all do a great job. This is not any of those, though. It's ultra red. So this one's got blood orange, tonka bean, praline, some vanilla in here as well. Interesting story on this one. You know, it was gone, discontinued, and hard to get for the longest time, and then it just popped back up, and it's been back pretty much ever since then. And even now, you can still grab this one on most of the discounters out there for lower than a lot of the other PACO Rabannes, well under 50. I think I've seen this one in the mid to upper 30s, low 40s before pretty consistently. So definitely very affordable from PACO Rabanne, which generally is a little bit heavier priced on discounters, you know, 60, 70, 80, 90 in there, in that range. Very affordable stuff. And it works really well. It's got a ton of sweetness. People kind of compare it to Mugler's Ultra Zest, and with the blood orange and the sweetness, I can see that a little bit, but I still think this kind of stands on its own. Interesting atomization function on this one. You just pull on the side of the bottle there and it happens for you. Pretty cool. Great smell, very mass pleasing like you would expect, and it works great for projecting and filling up a room and just cutting through the air, cutting through all other smells. Next up, we have SPICEBOMB Infrared Eau de Parfum. I love the red fruits and all of the cinnamon spices in this one, the pink pepper, all of that stuff. It's very spicy with just a different style of sweetness, and also lacks the tobacco, which is interesting here. But nonetheless, I do like this EDP flanker a ton. And really, any SPICEBOMB, I would say, for the most part, would work for this video. You could go all the way back to the EDT. It's still going to work great. SPICEBOMB Extreme would be probably my second choice, and you know, could have easily just been a replacement of this. I just wanted to throw in something a little bit different. All of them would work. I guess the only ones I would say maybe not so much as the infrareds, just because they're not quite as spicy, but they would probably still get the job done too. I just like where this one sits here. I like the smell of this a lot. It's a newer release, but they did a great job on it. And like I said, the red fruits, it's something that makes this one stand out in a positive way. It makes it a little bit more unique and interesting. It separates it from the other SPICEBOMB flankers, which I really like because they are getting to be quite a few of them now, and you don't really want a ton of redundancy, and I don't really feel that you have that here. Next up, we'll go with JOOP Wow! Exclamation point. Eau de Toilette. Yeah, JOOP Wow! This one's got balsam fir, cardamom, cashmere, and vanilla. Pardon my voice crack there. Let's give this one a spray. I really like it. It's affordable. It's unique. It's interesting because it's spicy meets smooth, which is unique and something that you don't always see. It's a warm, spicy cardamom, smooth cashmere. Doesn't really smell leathery, but it kind of has a leathery texture, like a suede texture, I guess would be a better representation or descriptor there. This is actually an impressive scent. I think JOOP in general, they get hated on because a lot of people don't like JOOP HOMME, and I can understand why. To be fair, it's very cough syrupy and not for everybody. Beast mode, that could be a good fit for the video. So generally, they just maybe don't have as much respect for these. It is what it is. I do think JOOP Wow is really good. A few of their other flankers, like JOOP, what is it going to be? JOOP HOMME Wild, I think, and then JOOP HOMME Absolute, something along those lines. Great ones as well, but this is kind of the one I wanted to highlight. And believe it or not, this one actually has a little bit more of a grown-up smell to it. Like really, try it for yourself. It might not look like it. The name and everything about this might just make you not to want to go anywhere near it, but give it a try. It's actually impressive. I know from myself going into it, I was kind of a little bit iffy. Turned out to be really good. Mystery Tobacco by Carolina Herrera. This is all about the tobacco. End of story. Not really. I mean, it is, but a little bit more to it. I've kind of talked about this one being a more wearable version of Red Tobacco by Mancera. And Red Tobacco just as easily could have been in the video, of course. No surprise, no shock. Maybe a bit too predictable. I've been featuring Red Tobacco quite a bit lately. I'm excited about it because it's fall and winter is when it is time to wear Red Tobacco. But also, the reason why I wanted to feature this is for general usability. Now, one issue that you'll find is the discrepancy in price is pretty substantial, you know, by over $100. Red Tobacco, I've seen it as low actually as $70, okay, 120 mil full press. Let's even say the going rate is $90 to $100, which I still think is probably a little bit high. Mystery Tobacco is going for usually in the low to mid 200s, so we're at that point already talking well over $100 difference. Could even be closer to a $200 difference, just depending on the pricing that you're. It could even be closer to a $150-ish difference, depending on where these are falling at the current time. But there's a big difference there. With that being said, the difference in price might not mean as much to you if you feel as though you can wear this more and you have the confidence to wear something like Mystery Tobacco more. Because let's face it, Red Tobacco is no holds barred. It's not for everybody. It is strong. And this one is too, but I do find it to be a little bit more wearable. Still very much focused on the tobacco. You get some leather tones in here as well and some general sweet notes. You don't really get any of the oud like you do in Red Tobacco. Again, it just comes down to usability. You might pay more for this, but if you feel as though you can wear it more often, you might be getting your money's worth out of it more. Just depends. And again, if you already have Red Tobacco, you're probably already set. I know I like having both, but that's not in the cards for everybody. Do your research, do your due diligence. I know for this one here in particular, it's just super easy to pull off, at least comparatively speaking. Let's jump over to another clone with AFNAN 9 PM. It's an Ultra Male clone. An Ultra Male is a fantastic, sweet, fruity pear scent. Pear, cinnamon, vanilla, tonka bean, some lavender, all of that good stuff. And this one follows a very similar structure, although in terms of note breakdown, instead of pear, they use apple, but it basically achieves the same thing. They are remarkably similar. And there are other Ultra Male clones out there on the market as well. There is Rue Broca Pride Intense. I'm looking at it on the floor right down there. It's a great one as well. This is kind of the OG 9 PM clone, and you know, I can only feature one, so this is just kind of what I landed on. It's about 40 bucks on discounters, maybe a bit less sometimes, depending on where you're shopping, but it's always going to be under 50, so don't go overpaying for this one. I feel like before I've seen this at like $58 or something, which is just, you know, we're talking about double the price of what it should be or more, so don't do that, but very affordable, significantly more affordable than Ultra Male, and it does a very similar thing, cutting through the air, especially in fall and winter time, and given its sweet structure, it does have great mass appeal. We're going to end things off with an aquatic, which might sound interesting because when you look at the whole scope of this video, everything is woody and smoky and spicy and sweet and strong. You know, that's really what everything has been here. Now we're completely changing course and going to an aquatic. So what aquatic could I be going with? It's not an Aqua de Jo. Those probably aren't going to have what it takes. It's not, you know, a Nautica or anything like that. We're going for something that is a true aquatic on the designer side, in my opinion. Bulgari Aqua pour Homme. It's easy to forget about, and that's because Aqua Amara and, you know, even stuff like Aqua Atlantique have been in the true spotlight for years, both of which are now discontinued, of course, but both ran their course, did very well, especially in the community, and then now they're just kind of gone. Because of the success of those flankers and even Aquamarine, I feel like Aqua pour Homme, the OG, has been the most neglected. And so when it comes down to it, this is all about the seaweed, the aquatic notes, a bit of orange, and more seaweed. It's realistic as it gets, especially for a designer. You know, if you're wanting to jump over to niche, I would point you towards something like Orto Parisi Mega Mare. I've featured that one a few times on the channel. It's a true aquatic that it just pushes all of the limits, and it's not for everybody, you know. You might think this is powerful and strong and a bit weird, but that one takes it to the next level. For wearability purposes, we're sticking with this designer, and to be fair, it's still going to achieve what we're trying to, especially because I'm kind of expecting people to pair this one with summer temperatures. With summer temperatures and summer weather comes summer scents. So people wearing, you know, maybe lighter colognes, maybe it being, you know, outdoors more often rather than in the wintertime. Everyone's crammed into bars and stuff like that, and indoor events. Summertime comes and there's outdoor festivals and everything, and I just find this one to excel in that environment more, and it would be appropriate for that time of year given that it's an aquatic. It works great, very strong. You can't really beat this stuff. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. A handful of men's fragrances that they just beat the competition. They really cut through the air and everything else within it. I'll drop links to them down below, and again, make sure you're on the mailing list and texting list. It's free to sign up down below, unsubscribe at any time, but really I'm always on the hunt for rare, discontinued, and hard to find fragrances, which do pop up often, and I notify you guys often, and especially now, the deals, the sales are going to be running rampant with all of the holiday sales and end of year sales. People are trying to move stuff out of their warehouses to make room for all of the new constant flow of inventory that happens year over year. So now is the time to be ready to purchase, and you will stay up to date and you will be the first to know before anyone else on those lists. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.